Hello beauties, and welcome back to the Bumpy Bones Locksport channel. So I was in Home Depot today picking up things for my summer projects, and when I was walking down the lock aisle, I noticed that they had the new Master Lock Elites in stock, so I decided to pick up a few to play with and see kind of what the difference is between the new Master Lock Elites and the laminated Master Lock series. So let's go ahead and get started here. So I picked up the Master Lock Elite PK1, which is equivalent to the Master Lock 1 or Master Lock 3. And then I also picked up the PK15, which is equivalent to the Master Lock 15. And in terms of sizes, the sizes are pretty much the exact same. I do notice, like with the Master Lock 15 here, they did remove some of the rivets here, which is interesting. These are also laminated padlocks behind the housing here, which I think is a plastic. I don't think that might be like aluminum or something like that, but that is not a full metal. That is, I think, mainly plastic. Um, the big difference are the keyways. So if I turn on my side camera here, let's take a closer look at our keyways here. So here's the keyway for the Master Lock 3. That's the M1 keyway here. And so if we take a look at the PK1 here, we'll notice that it is very different. That is actually very similar to a Master Lock Pro keyway. In fact, I've got a Pro Core here, so let's go ahead and compare those two there. So you'll see they are similar, yet different. The warding on the Master Lock Elites are a lot more fine than the warding on the Pro Series. In fact, let's go ahead and see what width picks we can get here. I do notice that this is, I would say, a bit more paracentric. It does look like that middle warding there does go all the way across, at least from the look of the eye. But let's take a look. Let's grab a 0.4 millimeter pick, which is the equivalent of 20 thousandths. And we'll notice with this here, we do get easy access to the pin still. So the warding is still such that a 0.4 millimeter or 15 thousandths pick, which is kind of like my favorite when I'm picking Master Lock Pros, still works. Let's go ahead and try a 0.5 millimeter or 20 thousandths pick. And what we'll see with that is that still gets decent access to the pins. You still have to kind of go more at an angle, but it does give you access pretty much to all of the pins. All these locks are 5 pins, and I do think that there are some spool pins in these, but it's not all spool pins, I believe. But we'll look at that when we pick it. Now let's go ahead and try a 0.6 millimeter or 25 thousandths millimeter pick. And yeah, we still can get access to the pins somewhat, but it is very, very tight. I can actually let go of the pick and kind of go, shake that a little bit and it doesn't come out. So I would recommend either the 0.4 millimeter or 15 thousandths or the 0.5 millimeter or the 20 thousandths when we are picking the Master Lock Elite here. The other really cool thing that I noticed is that the keys are slightly different. So if we take a look at the key that came with the Master Lock 1 that we're going to be picking open here, you're going to notice that it's very smooth, very rounded cut and all of that. So when we're kind of taking a look at it, at least with the eye, looking at it in the profile here, it's a little bit harder to see exactly where the pins are. Now, again, if you work a lot with them, we can see pin 1, pin 2, pin 3, pin 4, pin 5. I can definitely see where the pins are. But if we take a look at another Master Lock key here, you'll notice that previously, they were very sharp cuts and all that. And here you can definitely see where the pin stacks are. So I'm wondering if this is something new that they're going to be doing. I did look at the the keys on these locks here, and they don't have the peaks as much as the previous keys did. But that was one thing that I did notice that was new with the key. So that's kind of cool, I think. Um, so let's go ahead and grab our vise and put this Master Lock Elite in the vise and see what it takes to pick it open. So let me go ahead and clear my station just a little bit here. And let me grab my vise. And so, as always, let's demonstrate that the lock opens and is fully functional. It is a ball actuator in there. And so, all right, let's get that into the vise. Let me turn my side camera back on and get this back into alignment here. And let's go ahead and start picking. Now, what I'm going to use is I'm going to use 0.4 millimeter picks. I'm going to start with picks from Lock Tools. So I'm actually going to start with the ball pick here. Or not the ball pick, the Deforest diamond pick. And I'm going to use top of the keyway tension with a 1.2 millimeter pry bar from Lock Tools here. So let's go ahead and get that in. I'm going to apply some decent pressure. And let's go ahead and see what this takes. So I'm starting at 1. And there's 1. I do notice that the clicks on this lock are not as pronounced. Let's go with 2. And I do have to release tension just a little bit on the tensioner as well with it. I can't go with very heavy tension. All right, there's 3. All right, I think that was 4. 5, and we are open. That's actually the first time that I got that open without getting a false set. When I practiced this before, try that again. So there's 1. Not sure if 1's fully set. All right, there's 1. All right, let's try that again. Because when I was playing with these before I recorded, I was getting a false set. All right, try this again. Gotta get that up there. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 4 was set. Now it's giving me problems. All right, I'm going to switch over to my multi-pick. Let's see here. This is the V57, so I think it's the deep flat hook. I want to make sure 1 is set because 1 is a high cut. Dang. Oop, I think I overset. All right, let's go ahead and try this again. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it was, yep, 3. There we go. And it opened again without getting into a false set. That is so interesting. I mean, the picking on these are pretty straightforward. So, when we take a look at the packaging here, we want to take a look at this. They say, maximum security. Well, I mean, you can see picking this guy open was pretty straightforward. So we've got a 5-pin cylinder and dual ball bearing to resist picking, prying, and impact. Now, there is a video that I watched from Lockpicking Vlad where he actually used a bobby pin to bypass the actuator and all that. Now, I am not good enough to duplicate that. I have tried to duplicate that, but my bobby pins are a little too thick, I think. I haven't been able to bypass the actuator quite yet, or bypass the pins and hit the actuator quite yet. What my goal is I'm actually, because I bought two of the PK1s here. I'm going to a conference next week, but after I get back from my conference, I'm going to take my angle grinder and disassemble the lock, because I want to see just how the actuator is set up, and if it, what would take to bypass, or if that's a fluke, or just to kind of see if that is a design flaw with these guys here. But yeah, it says 2 times protection against shackle attacks. Well, I mean, if you can bypass it with a bobby pin, that is definitely something that is questionable. So it's a standard master lock. Um, I do kind of find them fun. It was fun kind of learning that, at least initially, and after a few attempts, it gets a lot easier to pick open and all that. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video. As always, do feel free to comment on my videos and like my videos, and subscribe to my channel. And I hope everyone has a beautiful day, and I will see you all later.